Today we're going to talk about how I became a cosmetic nurse injector. Just a few years ago I had very little work-life balance. I was doing night shifts in the hospital. I wasn't sure of my next steps, and now I'm an experienced injector in my own space. To set the scene, I was 24 years old, working in the neonatal intensive care unit in my third year of nursing that entailed 3 12-hour shifts a week. Usually 1 or 2 of those were nights, which I did myself, but it's not good for your body. And before nursing, I worked as a professional artist doing body paints, face paints for shows, birthdays, and events. I promise you'll see the relevance of that shortly. As you can imagine, working in the NICU comes with a huge emotional toll, and at 21 to 24, I was still very young. After those 3 years, I realized it might be time for me to take a break and try a different type of nursing. I loved that job so much, but it was always going to be there when I was ready to come back, and I had already used up my 3 free sessions of nursing counseling. It wasn't long before I realized that aesthetics would still allow me to use my degree with my creative side. So I jumped on Seek, a New Zealand job finders app, and looked for a few cosmetic nurse jobs. Most of them wanted experience, so some of them I didn't even hear back from, but eventually I did get invited to an interview, and that job I got. Because I had no injector experience, it meant I had to go through a lot of training before I started, and for that I am so grateful because I hear the training is less intensive these days. Of course, in New Zealand you do already have to be a degreed healthcare professional like a nurse, doctor, or dentist. It involved a month of almost full-time training alongside full-time work. I wasn't sure if I'd get paid for the training, so I made sure not to quit my hospital job first, and I did about 80-hour weeks that month. Of course, that month required a calendar, and I keep mine, so if you want to know exactly what that month of training entailed, let me know in the comments. So now, because I was a contractor, I had to set myself up as a sole trader, learn how to do my own invoicing, tax, and GST. My spreadsheets were not it. I kept them too. And this time I also set up my business Instagram to start finding models and then eventually post my work. It came in handy surprisingly quickly. I'm still shocked that people wanted to be my models before I had any experience. But I did have good trainers, so at least they were under that guidance. And after that month of training, there I was out on my own. Of course, I was in busy clinics surrounded by other women, but I was always the only nurse on at a time. And that's why I recommend injectors always get a few years in the hospital first, because I could tell you some stories about being the only healthcare professional working in a mall. I spent all my time watching YouTube videos just like this one, putting posts together for Instagram, following all the gurus, and then came the lockdowns. And later on came the realization that I should start my own business. So follow and hit the bell for that. I hope you enjoyed my first YouTube video. It feels a little bit weird. We're always going to get better. I felt like this on TikTok too, but don't tell them YouTube's my favorite.